go through how to set up a form with multiple questions or items that have go to page based on the answer on it. So we're just going to totally start from scratch here. So I'm going to go new form, and we'll just give this a title, multiple go to. So this is going to be our first question where we go to a page based on answers. So let's say, we'll just call it aggression. We'll say occur once, twice. So we're making this very simple, but I'm going to say later on I'm going to use this go to page based on answer. So what I want to do is, and we talked about this in another example, is have different pages that I can go to based on the answers here. Now I want to have another question called multiple choice. Just ignore that. Add another item, multiple choice, and we'll call this development. So we're going to say development occur. And we're just going to have two options, yes and no. And we want to have follow-ups based on these. Obviously, we want the follow-up if the answer is yes. So what we demonstrated in the workshop is if I just put multiple pages after this, it didn't really work if these were both with follow-ups. So what we have to do is put in the pages in between them and break them out. So it'll make more sense as I show what we're doing here. So what I'm going to do is I only have one follow-up question for this aggression. I only want if it was more than twice, I want some follow-up. So I'm going to add a page break. And I'm going to move it right after aggression. And this will be called aggression follow-up. I can type. Okay, so now that's in the second page there. Now what I want to do is add an item. And what I'm going to do, just for making this very simple, we really wouldn't set it up this way, we're going to put a paragraph text that says more info on more. I'm just going to call it more info. And I'm going to pull this right under aggression follow-up. So that's going to be its own page with just one question on it. Obviously you'd have multiple questions, but for the simplicity's sake of this example, I'm going to leave it like that. So I'm going to add another page break, and it's going to be called we'll just call this more questions. I'm going to drag this up above elopement. So now you can see I have 3 pages. I have my first one with my first question. Obviously there'd be more questions on there, but I just built the aggression question in there. My page with aggression follow-up, which actually I need to get the more info. I got to drag that up into that page. Now I have more questions. In there is did elopement occur. Now I want to add another page break. Let's say follow-up. And I can add another item here, and we'll just call, let's put a checkbox in here. Let's say did so if any of this stuff happened before elopement, and we'll just say this at more stuff. Alright, so now you can see here's the flow that I want to have of this. So I need to have my first page that has all questions. I can only put one question in here that has multiple follow-ups, or a follow-up to go to pages based on it. This one also has choices where we could break out based on the answers. The key is you can only put one question that has go to pages on each page. So what I'm going to do is go back into edit this item. I'm going to say go to page based on answer. Now this aggression follow-up, I really want this more info only if it happened more than twice. So to have more than twice, I'm going to go to aggression follow-up. If any of these choices, I'm going to go right to more questions. So you can see how I set that up. So If they said did not occur, we're going to skip page 2 and go right to page 3, which is more questions. Same thing for once, same thing for twice. But if they did say more than once, we're going to go to this follow-up one here. If you look after page 1, what I want to do, I could leave that as continue to next page. Yes. Yeah, I think I can leave that as continue to next page. We'll test it out. Now after page 2, I want to continue to the next page because always after I answer this aggression follow-up, I'm going to go to the elopement questions. Now here's where I need to go to make some edits. If they said yes, elopement did happen, I'm going to say ask the elopement follow-up questions. If you said no, I'm going to say submit form because we're done. That's the end of it. Now after page 3, I'm going to say submit form, and then obviously after page 4 we're going to submit form. So let's test this out and see how it worked. Then we'll walk through it again or whatever. Alright, so I'm going to say aggression did not occur. Since I said did not occur, it should skip that follow-up question and go right to the elopement question, which it does. Let's test it out. If I say yes, elopement occurred, it asks me these questions. Alright, that's good. Let's go back and back and back. We'll try once. Good, we skipped the follow-up question. Twice. Good, we skipped the follow-up question. More than twice. Good, we get this follow-up question. I can type whatever I want in here. I'm going to continue. We tested out if it said no. I'm sorry, we kicked it out if it said yes, and what it did is it brought us to this follow-up. Let's test it out if we say no. Continue. Click to submit. This is extra stuff you have to do in there because you didn't have the follow-ups. Hit submit, and then you're done. So here's the flow of it. I could put more questions on here that won't affect it. So you ask your first set of questions, but remember, if you have 2 different questions that have follow-ups, you need to break them into separate pages. But I can add other questions that don't have follow-up. Here I could say, put the date. Now since there's no breakout of what happens based on this, it doesn't matter. That can live in there. I can ask other questions. I could say text your name. You could build more things in there and that won't affect it. But you need to have, once you have this, you can only have one question here that breaks out based on the answer. It doesn't have to be the last question actually, but it just is here. Then we build a second page with the follow-ups. Then from that second page, we're always going to continue right to the next page, which is our next set of questions. And this is actually another breakout, or breakout based on what it was questioned. One thing just to remember here is after the last breakout page, have it say submit form. And that's really all you need to do, and then that should work for you. All right. Thanks a lot. Let me know. Email me if you have any more questions.